closer.
Yeah, you come with your mic.
All right, we're live.
Yeah, he named his thing monkeys. Are you serious, man? Oh man, thanks again for checking out another edition of Dead End Sports. Welcome to the place where sports opinions collide. I'm the host, 12 Kyle, and you are locked in for the next 2 hours. Some of the best sports talk that you will find. We, of course, are interactive. If you have any questions, any comments, you can join us. We encourage each and every one of you to join us in the live chat. Just go to youtube.com// Dead End Sports. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast. Also, I will not be doing this show alone. Of course, joined by the fellas, the crew. You know them, you love them. Ken, Beezy, what up, fellas?
What up?
What up, though?
Good. What up? What up, man?
And I'm assuming FIFO's on the way.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me. My mic sounds nice. I'm good.
Check one.
Yeah, you good.
All
Check
right.
two.
Oh.
Yeah, man. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, the NBA playoffs are in full effect. The NBA draft lottery, the lineups are now set. So we know who's going to be selecting and when. We don't know who's going to get drafted, but great talk nonetheless. As I mentioned, a lot of stuff to talk about. Major League Baseball is in the news. We got a lot of golf news. Whatever you want to talk about, as I mentioned at the top, if you have a question, make sure that you shoot it to us on Twitter at Dead End Sports. Shoot us a tweet, and we will read your questions live on the air. If for some reason you're watching this after the broadcast, make sure you subscribe and follow us on all the socials. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. We're just about anywhere. We might be in your backyard. Nonetheless, you know what, man? Instead of starting off with basketball, Ken, I got a question for you, man.
What's up?
Yeah, you've played baseball, you've coached baseball. This whole Jose Bautista getting rocked in the face. For those of you watching who, if you haven't seen it, this past Sunday, Jose Bautista from the Toronto Raptors. If you remember last year in the playoffs, Bautista was, infamous for the bat flip as his home run, his game-winning home run knocked out the Rangers. Knocked out the Texas Rangers. Well, Bautista plays for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, keep in mind that the Blue Jays and the Rangers have played each other, and this was, I think, the last game that they played on Sunday. The Rangers then decide to hit Jose Bautista. Bautista goes to first, and there's a routine ground ball. He goes into second, which is an illegal slide because he tried to take out the second baseman. I think his name is Rued Odor. So he tried to take Odor out. Odor throws the ball to first base, and he gets up.
It was for
Bautista, for a double play. Bautista bucks up and walks up on Odor like, dude, you try to hit me with the ball, and proceeds to get knocked the hell out. Ken, have you ever seen anything like that in baseball?
Not that clean. I've been watching baseball a long time. I had to cover baseball when I covered sports back when I worked in the sports department when I did news. Mm-hmm. And you see fights all the time, a little bit more than we do now. And you'll see, like, when the brawl is happening, you'll see punches here and there, right? in a mist between, a lot of people.
Right.
I haven't seen one that clean. Like, the cameraman caught that one perfectly. And in today's era of social media, Vine, Instagram, Sports Center, it went everywhere. Like, that looked like a professional punch. And this is like, it's like the classic, when people get up there and some people, talk back and forth, but not really wanting to fight.
Right.
Kind of pushing and stuff like that. You know
Right.
how somebody come behind you and push them into him, and then you just kind of push, get off me. Hey, he pushed me. This was kind of like that. Except Odor wasn't pushing. Odor was like, as soon as Bautista demonstrated like he was ready to even put his hands up, he got clocked.
Yep.
Right.
He wasn't taking any chances.
Got his shades knocked off, got his helmet knocked off.
Yeah. So that tells me that Odor has been in some situations before.
Mm-hmm.
Been in some situations before. And he wasn't taking any chances, man. So he went for it first. And he did. And it was a great punch, man. And I didn't get a chance to say it, but I heard he caught a couple of more people afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And Raw as well. Yeah, I couldn't see any of those, but yeah, man, that was something else, man. And I got to tell you, I know this is wrong to say, but that's the most people have talked about baseball this year.
That's true. and we're leading our broadcast.
Yeah, but true. Damn.
What was your take on it, B? I mean, you play baseball too, man. A hard slide, again, by baseball's definition, it was an illegal slide. But Bautista, I guess, had a reason to be upset because they waited until last game to hit him as retribution from the bat flip of last year. What were your thoughts when you saw it?
I'm surprised his legs didn't buckle when he fell down. I'm surprised he was still on his feet after he got clocked with a clean. I mean, he hit him like right here, man. And you got a fist coming at you full speed like that. Yeah, I'm shocked he didn't. I'm shocked his legs didn't buckle and he stumbled on the ground. Like, I'm glad he still. That was cool. He still came at him and like the punch didn't phase him. But man, yeah, that was something else, man. Like, it was just. Like Ken says, in this social media era we in, that's how I found out about it. Like, it just took off so fast. Like, it was just like, what the heck? And all you started seeing was the gifs, the memes, everything. I was just like, what? And then, of course, once SportsCenter came on, he got fouled and won. So when SportsCenter came on, of course, that was like the top segment. Like Ken said it perfectly. This is the most that MLB has been talked about so far this season, which is, it's still early in the season. It's still kind of each other, but still, it's like no one was really talking about baseball at all. But this happened. Oh, this was headlines everywhere. Baseball, MLB guys was loving this because this was the most attention that their sport was getting, so far as of right now, while the NBA is still going on, NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs is going on. So, yeah, I was just surprised my man. He didn't timber like a tree when he got caught. Right. I was more surprised by that than the punch itself. I'm like, damn, he didn't buckle. Like, usually sometimes you get clocked, your legs gonna buckle, man, and you just timber, man. You just timber. And I thought one of his teammates was gonna have to catch him. You know what I'm saying? Just from that punch. So yeah, that's what I said. I was just more shocked. I was just more surprised by that.
And joining us now, man, the fourth member of the crew, my man FIFO. FIFO, what's going on, Playboy?
Yo, what's good, Karl?
FIFO.
Yo, can you hear me?
What up? Yeah, I got you, bro. What's up? What's going on?
What's good, man? Chilling, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, every week, working, grinding, watching the game.
No doubt. What did you think about the base brawl? I know you're very familiar with baseball, big fan, played it growing up, man. What did you think when you saw that punch?
Nah, is the complete opposite. Didn't play growing up. Not a big fan. Just follow all the Cuban guys because I'm Cuban.
Okay.
But obviously, I don't even watch baseball, but I know exactly what happened, and I saw it. Saw it on social media. Saw it, ESPN. I'll put it to you like this: everybody covered how great the punch was because it was a great punch. And I am surprised his knees didn't buckle. I'm gonna clap it up for Beltry.
Man,
I'm gonna clap it up for Beltry, man, because if it wasn't for him grabbing Bautista after that, it might have been really nights out. And he might have had some head trauma for real. Because after he got clocked and he kind of stumbled back, Beltry grabbed him and said, "Yo, bro, you good? You good?" You know what I'm saying? So he really is back on that. He kind of kept them out the brawl. Because, you get hit like that, even though you didn't fall, you dazed and confused a little bit, at least a little bit. You know the jaw hurt. You saw him move that tongue around his mouth. You saw that thing poking around. He felt that, man. That was a punch. And look, man, I don't watch baseball like that, so I didn't know, baseball really has a history of fighting. You see the brawls and stuff like that. A couple times you see a couple punches, but I ain't never seen nothing like that. I ain't never seen nothing where it's like me and you squared up, And I think Bautista, if you're gonna do something like that, you have to kind of expect that. You know what I'm saying? Especially how they was feeling regarding the bat flip. And then you came out here, obviously they hit you. You came out here with the illegal, slide. You got to come up like fist, fist. He had an open hand to Odor's chest. Like, bro, like, you're not just going to come out and be, oh, yeah. No, he hit you with a fastball, man. That is real. And then you coming out here trying to hit somebody's legs. That means you got to come up and be like, what's good? What's good? You know what I'm saying? He might not be that type dude, but Odor was. And hopefully he learns from his life experience. Next time you try to be, a little grimy or whatever and revenge and all that, you better come with closed hands. Because an open hand ain't going to do nothing, bro. You're going to get clocked again.
Boy, that is so true. I think Brand Nubian said it best, man. Punks jump up to get beat down. I think, and before we get into the basketball talk, I think one of the biggest things that we learned is that, and we did a show about this last year about some of the unwritten rules in baseball. I think, when you get past the punch, I think there's levels of blame all the way around. I think the Rangers should not have waited this long. If they were going to hit Bautista, like I said, this was the last game of the year that they were going to play Toronto, unless they meet in the playoffs. They could have did it, the first game of the season. They could have did the first game of this particular series. I think if I'm not mistaken, this was like the 7th time they've played this year. So my thing is, if you want to get that done, get it done if you're trying to send a message. We understand that there's unwritten rules in baseball. My thing is this, too. Bautista did that last year. This is a whole new different year. The Blue Jays have a different team. The Rangers have a different team, so forth and so on. I think Bautista, that was an illegal slide. So, Odor, he felt some kind of way. First of all, he probably doesn't like Bautista. And then the fact that he felt like that Bautista tried to take his legs out from under him, so he felt some kind of way. So he was already amped up anyway. I mean, he was ready to throw them things anyway. And then lastly, Bautista said he was surprised that he got punched. Last time I checked, if you run up on somebody, no lie, he said that honestly. He said he was surprised that he got punched. And I'm like, dude, if you step to somebody, you should know you're gonna get punched. So it's blame all the way around. And to be honest, I don't necessarily blame Odor. I mean, somebody run up on you, you're gonna have to throw them things. And I thought the funny part about it was they asked Odor if he was gonna apologize. He said, hell no, I'm not apologizing. So it is what it is, man. So we'll get more baseball talk in. We've gotten a couple of emails and tweets about, you guys don't ever talk baseball. To be honest, baseball's a long season. You guys know, we know baseball. We're going to talk baseball. There's going to be more baseball talk as we go along, but we're right in the middle of the NBA playoffs. So, but that's a great story to lead off with, man. Tonight's title, Little Monkeys. I didn't name the show, just so y'all know, I didn't name the show. I guess we can start with last night's game. At the time of this recording, the Cleveland Cavaliers seem to be slamming the hell out of, every time I look up I see a slam dunk. They're slamming the hell out of the Toronto Raptors right now. It looks like they're by 19 in the second quarter. So you may hear some reaction from us as we're broadcasting live but also watching the game. But last night's game, the Golden State Warriors battled the OKC Thunder. The Thunder steal game one. They go into Oracle, get the win. FIFO, man, your thoughts on what happened last night?
I think that third quarter was extremely pivotal. The first half, OKC had 10 turnovers. They averaged 18 turnovers against Golden State. You're not going to be Golden State getting almost 20 turnovers a game, and they were on pace for that. Second half, they only had 1 turnover, and in that third quarter, Russell Westbrook scored 19 points. I feel like for some reason in this game, when Golden State had the momentum, typically they put more gas on that fire, and they didn't. They kind of eased up. And once Russell got going, it was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he was in the top 3 in MVP voting. But I thought what was interesting, and I feel like he does not get enough flack for this, is KD. Because there was a pivotal stretch where he was like 0 for 6 or 0 for 7.
He was 0 for 8. He was 0 for 8, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the fourth quarter with like 3 minutes or some change to go, Russell Westbrook was also 0 for 2 during that stretch. But KD, a lot of times, you know, they talk about clutch. Yeah, he might make the last shot, but kind of to seal the game, he disappears a lot. He really does. And I think you saw it last night. When you are a former MVP, you know, when you are considered a top 3 player in the NBA, you got to make those shots down the stretch because you know they're coming to you. You know they're coming to you. And I feel like, you know, obviously he's going to take the shots. You're not going to tell him not to take them. And if you're not making jumpers, then you got to do something else. You got to do something else. Off of, you're a 7-foot shooting guard. You're a 7-foot shooting guard. Figure that thing out, man. Figure that thing out. You know, and to me, yeah, he made the shot to, you know, kind of put the last nail in there and really seal it. But, Brian, you could have been sealed it and won it on the defensive end. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's what championship teams do. I do think this is going to be a 7-game series. I think you know, everybody's going to be tested. And at the end of the day, Golden State is going to win. Kenny Smith made a great point. In playoff games, especially when you have 2 elite teams like this, the games are going to be won in the last 2-3 minutes of every quarter. Execution, mental toughness, and poise. And that's what it comes down to. I think Golden State is better in that regard. But I'm not going to lie to you. I think in terms of personnel, OKC's better. They're more physical. They're more athletic. You know what I'm saying? They have more intangibles. But the way Golden State is constructed, their mindset, them being former champions plus 2-time MVP, and Steph, he's unguardable. We saw some of them threes he hit. I got Golden State in 7.
No doubt, no doubt. B, what about you, man? Your thoughts on Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals last night?
Yeah, man, it was. I didn't really see that coming, man. I didn't think Golden State was gonna let that one slip away from them, man. They first game at home, you know, and it's amazing how both teams didn't really shoot that good. Like, you know, like
not at all.
You know, so it kind of makes me wonder, like, man, how we might be in for a long series because if both teams had a bad shooting night, it's just at the end, you know, Durant finally hit a couple of bats because Durant was looking real iffy in that fourth quarter, man. But he hit like 2 big shots for OKC that really kind of was like the dagger, as well as Westbrook. Like people said, in the third quarter, Westbrook just turned it up. Like he really turned it up and took it to him, and you know they put it out. You know, rebounding also another thing that helped them out is like OKC a lot out too. So you know, I'm just really interested to see how it's gonna be once either team starts shooting well. Like if you know Curry. That's another thing too, man. Curry he really gotta calm down his turnovers. Like his turnovers was freaking terrible. You cannot. This is the Western Conference Finals. You cannot be turning over the ball like this. I mean, some of the passes that Stephen Curry was doing was like, dude, what are you thinking? Like, what you know, it was just kind of like one of those, what are you thinking type of passes. Like, you really thought that was gonna get past fast Russell Westbrook, and he wasn't gonna see that and pick that off and go the other way. Like, come on, Stephen Curry, you better than that. So, yeah, that's one thing. I think he had like half of the team turnovers. I think he had 7.
Yeah, he had 8 turnovers, I think.
8. Okay, yeah, 8 turnovers.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, it's either 7. Okay, 7 or 8.
Okay, yeah. So see, I was right. 7. Yeah, 7 turnovers, man. Like that's like half of the whole squad turnovers. You cannot do that. And you the point guard too. That I'm pretty sure the team and your coaches are saying like, yo, you cannot turn the ball over like this. You can't make mistakes. This is the WCF, man. You gotta be ready. We trying to get that trip to the finals. You don't want no historical season go down the drain by y'all not getting eliminated by OKC. So, and it's funny because I tweeted this earlier. I said, wouldn't that be crazy if OKC take out two of the team's best regular season records, in Spurs and Warriors, and to make their way to the finals? Like, that would be crazy. Like, for them to take out the Spurs, who won 67 games, and then turn right back around and beat the Warriors, the 73, win Warriors. So I thought that would be kind of interesting if the OKC can pull that off. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna still go with my original pick. I had Warriors winning in 6, but the pressure's on them going tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure is definitely on because you do not. Because if you're OKC, you're like, cool, we got one. Like, bet we not.
Right.
Not saying they gonna come slacking because I'm pretty sure OKC gonna come to play, but like now the pressure's on Golden State because if you lose this game and going into crazy OKC arena, down 0-2 and you figure you OKC, yeah, we just get one of these games, we up 3-1, we sitting pretty. So yeah, the pressure is on Golden State tomorrow. So they better play like they got some sense and they better calm down on turnovers. I'm really interested to see how well the teams are going to be shooting this second game because they shot terrible game one. Both teams did. So
right.
yeah, I thought it was very entertaining. I'll tell you that much. That's what I'm hoping. I want a bloodbath.
What about you, Ken? Early thoughts on Game 1 of the Western Conference Final?
Well, OKC, they are not afraid of the Golden State Warriors. They could have won 2 of the 3 games they played this year, and they really feel like they are the better team. And Westbrook and Durant, they wanted the Warriors, and that matters. Whether or not they can beat them is one thing, but going into this game, when you're playing the Warriors, you gotta have that confidence. And what people say all the time, over and over again, basketball is a game of confidence. And you just beat the Spurs, so up next to the Warriors, you played them well in the regular season, and now it's just taking the lessons learned from that and apply it to the postseason. And they just didn't quit, man. Westbrook had a terrible half. They were turning the ball over, typical OKC. And typical, at times, Golden State showed up in the second half where the script was flipped, and they started turning the ball over multiple times. And Westbrook was an absolute monster in the third quarter. And, and he really helped bring them back just with his energy, his effort, his belief. And in thinking about that game and thinking about Steph's fourth quarter, I'm wondering if Westbrook's effort in the third quarter, caused a little fatigue on Steph Curry. Because he got a couple of fouls on Steph when Steph, tried to guard Westbrook. And that may have taken some of his energy. He was 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter, which is, not usual for Steph Curry. We don't expect that. Once he hit that three from the corner, I was like, oh, here they come. Because you expected at some point Golden State was going to make that run, and it never happened. And they played Golden State ball. I know Kerr said that, they took some quick shots and some, got a little bit out of character, but that's what they do. It just didn't fall. I thought it was what the other thing I thought was interesting is a lot of people didn't give OKC a chance. And granted, they could very well go lose the next 4, but it was complete disrespect towards Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook because a lot of people were predicting blowouts. Even when the first half was going, when they were up 13, they were like, oh, this is going to get ugly. And you have to give OKC a lot of credit to come back, to fight back, to survive punch after punch after punch from OKC to win that game in spite of how bad they executed down the stretch, including the missed, travel. But, that's neither – I mean, it was a big call. But for them to pull their game out, man, speaks volumes to what they've learned in the regular season, losing all of those big leads and learning from that and applying it in the playoffs. They got to do it 3 more times. But to get that first win, to put Golden State in this 0-1 hole, something that they're not accustomed to, I'm with B totally. There's a lot of pressure on Golden State, and they haven't lost back-to-back games this season. So we'll see what happens from here. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But you got look, OKC has won 3 road games in San Antonio and at the Oracle. That's quite an accomplishment.
Very much so.
As far as and I totally agree with FIFO about KD. I'm not going to even elaborate much more on that. He said it perfectly. I'm in total agreement. He just got to do something else. But B and I, we were texting yesterday around 3:00. B, who did I pick to win this series? And how B.
B went to sleep on you.
Yeah.
Hey, at 3:00 yesterday, who did I text? Who did I tell you was going to win this series, B?
OKC.
Before the game.
OKC. You said OKC. You said OKC in 6.
That's right. We got one.
Oh,
Hey,
Lord,
Ken.
there you go.
I'm going there, baby.
Ken,
Yeah,
don't do it. Don't do it, Ken. Don't do it, Ken.
Somebody got to do it, man.
Hold on, people. I got this.
Ken happy as hell. He over there smiling.
Let me say something, Ken.
They can lose in that.
Ken, you understand how probability works. You're saying that a team that has not lost, that lost 9 games over like a 5-month span will lose 4 in a 2-week span? Probably not. I mean, I much like FIFA, I said 6. I think it's going to go 7 now. I think last night I thought, and B touched on it, I thought both teams didn't play particularly well. I think both teams shot the ball, they didn't shoot the ball particularly well like we're accustomed to seeing. I think some of it could be blamed to rust on both sides. A lot of bad shots too, and FIFO touched on something that I was like, personally, my boys were texting me last night. They were killing me because I said, I had made some comments before the game in our little group text about KD, about how much I love this game. And they were like, well, what's your boy doing now? They texted me during the game. What's your boy doing now? Your boy's, he's fading, he's choking. And it's like, I don't know what Durant was doing. I mean, he missed some easy shots. And I don't think, as the series goes on, I don't think that he's going to miss those kind of shots. Westbrook struggled, but he got cooking in the third. And I think 2 things happened in that third quarter. One, he did not back down from Steph, and I think that was key. In fact, he went at Steph, and you could kind of see it in his eyes. Like, he was like, look, I'm not backing down. And I like the fact that Steph was going back at him on the other end. Another thing I think that helped actually hurt Golden State in the third quarter, I think they sat too long. They really didn't get much out of their bench. And, I've been very critical of Billy Donovan. We've been very, Ken and you and I both have been very critical of Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan actually got a lot out of Cantor last night. He got a lot out of his bigs. When Golden State went small, he stayed big, and, it didn't necessarily kill him. But, Kerr didn't get it. I mean, space didn't give you that much. Ezeli was, he was just out there. I think Clay and those guys sat too long. And Harrison Barnes, hit a couple shots at the beginning of the game and then was non-existent, throughout the game. So I think I'm hopeful that we'll see better basketball on both sides, because I thought the game got real sloppy at points yesterday, but it was still a good game. I think we're in for a long series. I think, like B said, there's a lot of pressure on Golden State, but because I'm playing the defending champs, if you got that killer mentality, you don't just settle for one game. OKC could really win this series if they win game 2. But conventional wisdom, a lot of times, and I've seen a lot of playoff basketball. Generally speaking, what tends to happen is a team will win one, and you know what they'll say? Hey, we got a game. We stole one. So now we're going home. We're going to get 2. Nah, you can't have that kind of mentality against the champions. You got to want to deliver the knockout blow, because conventional wisdom says that you win twice on their court and then you got to go home, you're at least going to get 1 at home. So the pressure is on OKC. I mean, the pressure is on Golden State. Don't be surprised if Golden State blows out OKC tomorrow. If OKC lets their guard down. But I think Westbrook and Durant cannot let that happen because game 2 is very important. If they can win game 2, they can win this series. If they don't win game 2, then all Golden State has to do is get one on their floor, which they're more than capable of doing. You don't want to come back to Oakland without home court advantage because home court advantage, and don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that either team can't win on each other's floor. I think when you get to this point in the playoffs, you're pretty good wherever you play. But I think OKC really has to put the onus on them and put the pressure on Golden State. If you go up 2-0, you're in great shape to win. If you go back home 1-1, not as great a shape. You're in good shape, not great shape. I just think I'm from the old school. I just think like when you have the champion on the ropes, you got to knock them out because the champion will find a way. And Golden State, this is the first time that we've seen. Well, this is not the first time we've seen Golden State down in the series because they were down last year 2-1 to the Grizzlies. But let's keep it real with the Grizzlies. We didn't, they were going to come back against the Grizzlies. But it's. I think if it's up to Durant and Westbrook, I think they got to really step it up and try to put their foot on the gas. But I think that what we'll see tomorrow is hopefully better play on both ends. But I thought we got a good and entertaining game last night, back and forth. One of you guys mentioned the runs. To be honest, I don't know that when we see that Golden State run, I don't think that we're going to see that Golden State run where they get up 13, 14 and push it to 20. I don't see that against OKC because OKC is too good of a team. And they're going to make runs too. I think OKC, the two biggest things they have to do, and we talked about it last week, the two biggest things they have to do, they have to rebound, which they did last night. They killed them on the glass, and they have to keep the turnovers down. I think, like you said, people, 10 turnovers in the first half and then 1 in the second half, that's great basketball. If you cannot turn the ball over, and conversely, Golden State can't afford to turn the ball over because, those turnovers turn to quick, run-outs by Steph and, by Westbrook and Durant. So I think we're in for a great game on tomorrow night.
Yeah.
As I mentioned at the
wait.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Two
Ken.
things. Hold on. Two things I want to address. First, Ken,
Go ahead.
when you was talking about Steve Kerr, when he was complaining about the shots that they took and everything, listen to what he said because he was 100% right. Flow, pace, body movement, player movement. You're 100% right. They do take quick shots. But it stems from, first off, great defense. Second of all, when they are in offensive sets, they move the ball. Then when they get those turnovers, they can take those quick shots because those guys are in rhythm. And when Steph and Clay are in rhythm from the system, then when you get those turnovers and you try to convert, those are like layups for them. But that didn't happen. They were going for daggers every time.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have any flow or pace to what they do. They was just trying to run and gun, and they don't play running. They can run and gun, but it stems off of running their stuff and then playing great defense and just letting everything else snowball. And that didn't happen. But I agree with you where you credit OKC in that defense, though. You know what I'm saying, as well. So I'm not taking anything away from OKC. Second thing, Kyle, what you mentioned was Billy Donovan and giving them credit for staying big against Golden State. You definitely got to give them credit. But not every – and I agree with Kenny Smith on this point that he made last night. Not every team has two big guys that have enough lateral quickness to stay with perimeter guys on a consistent basis. Now, you saw Steven Adams guard Klay Thompson on the perimeter. And as Klay Thompson being the best two guard in the NBA right now, wow. Being the best NBA two guard, being the best two guard in the NBA right now, of course he's gonna get by Adams at times. But let's say in 10 possessions where Steven Adams guarded him, it was better than 50% where he held his own. Mm-hmm. There's not many big guys that are 7 feet that can do that. Cantor can move, and so can Ibaka. So they are able to stay big. A team like Cleveland, K Love and Tristan both have issues with that small lineup. Well, we seen it. Well, K Love only twice this year. We didn't see it in the finals, but we know Tristan has serious issues against Draymond Green. He can't guard him. So I don't think every team can do that. But OKC does have the the personnel to do that. And if they execute, that is going to be a problem for them. Because Draymond and Iguodala cannot out-rebound Cantor and Steven Adams or Ibaka. They just can't.
Yeah, and even when it looked like it wasn't working, when Cantor got cooked a couple of times, sometimes you have to, you just have to not back down. And
Right.
I think at one point he did go small, and then he went back to his big lineup, the King Kong lineup, in the fourth quarter. And they got a lot of offensive rebounds when they needed them to help push the lead, which they needed every single bucket. And that was, if you guys recall, that was one of the things that I complained about with David Black. His big lineup at times it was working, and as soon as he went to the so-called depth lineup now, he tried to adjust to that, and then ultimately ended up losing the series. The last thing, just to address what Kyle was saying about tomorrow's game, one of the things that I took away from that post game is that you're talking about a team that has been to the finals before. These boys are locked in, and they were not satisfied with just one win. They said that. They were like, we haven't done anything. We won one game. There's no need to chest bump. We have to win a series. We haven't won a championship. We're trying to win a championship. So they understand that they need to go out here and get this game, and that they know they'll put Golden State in a serious hole if they get this game. We don't know what's going to happen. You got to look at Golden State haven't lost back-to-back games all season, so more than likely they're going to win. They're the defending champs. But
Right.
Westbrook and Durant, they coming, and they're trying to get that 2-0 lead to go back to OKC to put the pressure on them. Let's see what happens.
I think it's imperative for them to get this win tomorrow. Like I said, it doesn't if they don't get it, but if they don't get it, it's not the end of the world, obviously, because you want to get a split. But I think you put that much more pressure on them if they're down 2-0 and they've got to play two in your building, where you are lights out at home, and then as opposed to having to worry about them trying to steal one. So we'll see. We're gonna be locked in tomorrow night as well. I love the fact that the game's on a little earlier so we can get some sleep at the end of the night. Because last night, man, it was over at like 11:45, man. I was happy. I paid for those games last week, boy. I was at work hurting. Before we leave this game, man, Steven Adams, the center for the Oklahoma City Thunder, made some comments. He was speaking to Chris Broussard from ESPN. Broussard had asked him about, being on the perimeter, having to chase guys, and he made a comment to Broussard. He was talking about the Golden State Warriors guards, right? And he said he's not used to chasing, and he kind of paused and he said, chasing these little monkeys, and referring to Curry and Klay Thompson. So it's never good when you refer to anybody as a monkey. You definitely don't refer to black people as monkeys. Now, to his credit, Steven Adams had, profusely apologized. He said it was a bad choice of words. He was, apologetic. FIFO, did you have a problem with it? Are you buying his apology? Are you okay with what he said?
I am, and I think it's just a cultural thing. Because look, man, Steven Adams, he doesn't come off that type of way. Obviously, he plays in the NBA amongst a whole bunch of black people. I know it's not Australia. I always want to say he's from Australia, but he's from New Zealand.
The South Pacific. Yeah.
He's from New Zealand. So, I think there's some monkeys out there, aren't there? You know what I'm saying? I just, you know what I'm saying? I really believe. I really believe,
stupid,
man. I really believe it's a cultural thing. I don't think he came off that way. You know what I'm saying? I really think it's a cultural thing. I don't think he meant it in any type of way. At least that's not how it came off to me. Now, obviously, we live in America. We have freedom of speech. There's obviously going to be some people offended. I get it. I'm not going to defend it myself. But I do understand that the NBA is an international game, and not everybody always knows what America history is. You know what I'm saying? They don't in New Zealand. I would doubt that they study American history. Why would they? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they would know certain things about us the way we know us. So I give him the pass. I really do. I give him the pass. I don't think he meant anything by it.
No doubt, no doubt. What about you, B? Your thoughts on the Steven Adams quote unquote controversy?
Oh man, I think a lot. I'm with people. I don't think he really meant it. When I watched it, it didn't come off as, like, wait a minute, like, damn, that was racist as hell. Even though you calling, African American men, black men, monkeys, of course. So
Right.
that in the social media age and how the society we in, yes, I can see how that can be so super sensitive. But I just don't think he meant. It didn't come off to me as I was just like, well, that's wrong. I wonder what Ken thinks of this guy. You know how Ken.
Yeah.
You know how he,
There's a reason. There's a reason why I asked him. Why I'm
yeah,
asking.
you know how Ken is. I know. But Ken, it didn't come off. If it had probably been like a different player that said something like that, maybe, I don't know. It's just like he's never struck me as a person that was like, man, I'm calling all black folks Caesar. Like, y'all think that.
Right.
I don't know, kid. I think I'm with FIFA on this, man. I think I might have to give him a pass on this, man. I didn't, I wasn't one of the sensitive people that was getting all up in my panties in the brunch just for him saying that. So I think for him coming from the country he comes from, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he really meant it in that way, man. But you go ahead, Ken.
Oh, wait. Before, because Ken got those preacher roots, so he got to go last. I didn't see it live. I saw it. I got wind of it this morning. I saw the tweet from our Twitter account. His apology was enough for me. I don't know Steven Adams personally. I know he's not from here. Do I think he's racist? I don't know Steven Adams well enough to think that he's racist or not. Given the fact he's not from here, I can't assume that he's not racist, but I don't know. So his apology was enough for me. I think it was, he apologized. He said it was, something he said out of context and, the cultural differences. I got no problem with it. I remember, in the mid '80s, great man by the name of Howard Cosell. If you anybody who's in sports media knows who Howard Cosell is, Howard Cosell was a god. And there was a broadcast on Monday Night Football, and he referred to a Washington wide receiver by the name of Alvin Garrett as a little monkey.
Yep.
And he got fired for it. I mean, I was fortunate enough to meet Howard Cosell once in my lifetime. If you ever met him or been around him, there might not have been anybody in the 80s or in the 70s that did more for sports culture as far as for black people that wasn't black than Howard Cosell. And for him to be railroaded and run out of his job because of a slip of the tongue, I don't think he meant it by any stretch of the imagination. That being said, you can't call black people monkeys. I mean, you just can't. So you can't call anybody monkeys. But, in this case, no, I don't think Steven Adams should be fined. I don't think he should be lambasted, by the public or whatever. He issued an apology. I don't think the Warriors have an issue with it. His teammates, more importantly, don't have an issue with it. If they're cool, I'm cool. It's all good. I don't have a problem with it. I think he's learned his lesson.
Yeah, and I think also his teammates I'm pretty sure his teammates was probably like, yo, man, like, the black ones was Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green probably put him to the side. It was like, yo, kind of put him up on game.
You mean,
like you said,
Russell and KD?
Huh?
I say you mean Russell and KD?
I mean, Russell, I'm sorry, yeah, Russell and KD. I'm pretty sure they, put like, yo, man, that ain't going to fly. So, and like Kyle said, he went out and issued an apology right away. So, I don't know. I think it was just a misunderstanding on his end. I don't, there's no way he could know that was sort of racial.
I don't think
there's no way. I don't know. I don't think so.
And then keep in mind it was said on national TV, so it wasn't like
right.
If he had said it in
you don't want to bring that
in his
all
apartment
on like that.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think you want to bring that on like that.
If he pulled a Donald Sterling and said it in the privacy of his home, that might be a little bit different.
Exactly.
But the context in which it was said, and where it said, I got no beef with it. So, Ken, what about you, man? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, you know, I'm pretty sure Steven Adams isn't the first person to actually think that. I'm sure that's some other people in the stands talking about.
Oh, of course.
Look at them little monkeys go up and down the court. Look at them hang on the rim. Look at them dribble that ball. Look at them monkeys.
You're stupid.
Yeah, you stupid, man. He is dead. He is dead. He is really dead.
Right.
Oh man. Nah, man. It was, as soon as I saw it, I was like, we're gonna do this. I was like, not Steven Adams. Nah, man. It was obviously an accident. He didn't mean that. He was searching for a word. He couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I guess monkeys, the first thing that came
I wonder how monkeys the first thing come to your mind, but that's another story.
Well, according to Answers.com, there are no monkeys, native to New Zealand. So I don't know where monkeys came from. So, it's just, and that's why I titled the show "Quick Little Monkeys" because it's funny. Not everything. This is a classic example. Not everything has to be racist.
No, it's not.
We're going to talk about it, bring it up because that's just what we do. But is this a situation where we need to invest a lot? Like it's fun to have a quick conversation, but he definitely. You're not playing on a basketball team with Ibaka, Westbrook, Durant, and stuff like that, and that's the type of attitude that you're gonna have on the cover. So I don't think he meant anything by it. I didn't even, when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. And then I heard the clip, I was like, oh, okay, that's not bad. I'm glad that no one's really making a lot of it. He's not from here. He's not from here, and he didn't know that term, can have derogatory ramifications to follow it. So. All is fine. Even I don't even honestly think he even had to apologize. I don't even think he meant anything malicious by it. But I just think that there are people in the stands that think that that's all I'm saying. That are not like Steven Adams, like some owners of the team.
Right.
But anyway, man. Now it was fine. It was cool, man. Let's just stay on the game. We don't need any of this side drama or anything like that. We have a great game going, and let's just not interview Steven Adams anymore. How about that?
Oh man, yeah. I think he's probably done. He's done enough. He probably won't be interviewed anymore. Speaking of comments, man, the four of us as a collective have not talked about this because I think it happened late last week. Obviously, we talked about Curry last week winning the MVP. Your boy LeBron James decided to chime in on his thoughts on Curry winning the MVP. He started off his commentary by saying that, Steph was deserving of it. He thinks without a doubt he should have won the MVP. Now, keep in mind, LeBron finished third in MVP voting behind Steph and Kawhi Leonard.
I thought it was fourth.
Did he finish fourth? I thought he finished third.
I thought Russell finished third.
I can look it up. Anyway, so LeBron was asked, and to be honest, I don't even know if LeBron was asked. LeBron volunteered the information by going on to say that when you talk about, his quote was, when you talk about the word valuable, that could mean that gives a different meaning. So, that's another discussion. Some shade towards Steph Curry. B, what did you think about LeBron's comments? Was he low-key hating or was he giving Steph props?
Oh, man.
Oh, according to the chat, I think LeBron finished third.
I was about to say, was he jealous? Or was he?
I'll look it up.
Maybe was he picking back off of Hurd's comments, about, I think I showed it to FIFO too as well. what Kyle Hurd said. Colin Kyle Hurd said.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron being the most valuable player, and Stephen Curry. What he said, I forgot what he said about Stephen Curry, but it was LeBron hating. I don't know. I think he was just really just saying his opinion. I mean, you could say if he was hating because they both in the same field, both playing basketball, and LeBron won MVPs multiple times, but I wouldn't really say he was hating. I mean, I don't know why he would say that and bring his attention to himself like that. Just focus on the playoffs. Don't worry about who won MVPs and who should have won MVPs and stuff like that. I don't know. It seems like, is it me or I don't remember other players commenting on stuff like that. Like,
right.
If Jordan won MVP, I don't remember them asking Karl Malone or
right.
or Elijah.
Asking Isaiah.
Yo, so who you think? It's just like, I don't know, man. It just why should it matter what LeBron thinks? I mean, he's not the MVP. Stephen Curry is MVP. So why does it care? Why are we talking about this? So
right.
That's what I think about it. I don't think he was hating per se. I just think it was stupid for him to state his opinion. He should just be like, next question, it should be focused on the playoffs. He's trying to get a ring for Cleveland.
What about you, FIFO? Your thoughts on LeBron's definition of most valuable, or valuable, I should say?
Yeah, I think I'm with B. I think he was just stating his opinion, and I think it's a valid opinion. I just think we live in a different era. Like, social media has evolved, or just
right.
media in general. What we ask players has evolved because we're more into them now. So we want to know opinions versus how it was back then. Back then, like Michael Jordan said, "Nah, next, whatever," it wouldn't cause a stir. Now you have some of the biggest athletes say next. People, like, that's a bigger issue than them answering the question. So I think he was stating his opinion. I think it's definitely valid because if you look at the word valuable, right, in most valuable to his team, the most valuable player of the league, or the most valuable to his team, like, in what context are we using it? Like, how do you justify most valuable player? I think it's a valid question, right? Because if you're most valuable to your team, I think is by far LeBron. If LeBron doesn't play on this squad, they're a playoff team, but they're not a championship team. They're definitely not a championship team. You know what I'm saying? But Golden State, on the other hand, without Steph, I think can make the Western Conference Finals without Steph. I think they're that good without Steph. Now, can they win? I doubt it because they don't have that special it factor, that sprinkle, that seasoning on top, the cherry on top. They don't have that. That's what Steph is. But I think that they're a better team with without Steph than Cleveland is without LeBron. So right. I think it's valid. And I think LeBron, how can we chastise somebody for being open and honest every time you ask him a question? I think that's the thing that bothers me the most, how we criticize LeBron for being honest. So you want a guy that's going to lie to you, just be politically correct or not answer the question? I'd rather LeBron be LeBron. Look, just be you, bro. If you want to answer the damn question, answer the damn question, man. Answer the damn question. Because I think it's extremely valid. He ain't come with no haterism. Because he's 100% right. You go 73-9, you average 30 points, you don't even play 35 minutes a game. You damn right.
Yeah.
He deserves the MVP.
Yeah.
He deserves it. He broke the 3-point record. He put it in the stratosphere.
He's the best player on the best team.
Best player on the best team. He earned it. But come on, man. Look, man. I think it's irrelevant. I don't even know why we talking about it.
Because LeBron opened his mouth. Here's my take, and I agree, and then I slightly disagree a little bit, FIFO. And I'm gonna tell you why. I think LeBron, giving Curry props, I agree with everything he said 110%. I think when he went into the definition of valuable, I think there's some animosity, and maybe not even animosity towards Curry. I think that there's some animosity towards the guys the guy in particular that finished ahead of him, Kawhi Leonard. But I think you got to keep in mind, man, this guy won 4 MVPs, right? And you could make a case that he probably could have won another 2. So this was never a discussion when he was winning MVPs. Why are you bringing it up now? I mean, LeBron, and here's the thing that people tend to
Because
forget.
he's unanimous. And
Hold
LeBron
up.
feels some type of way about not
Okay.
being unanimous when he should have been unanimous.
That was my next
Okay.
point, FIFO. LeBron 1 year finished 1 vote shy of being the unanimous MVP. One writer, I think he was from Boston, voted for Carmelo. Just because Curry was unanimous, I mean, and people say, well, you know, Curry shouldn't have been unanimous. Jordan never. That has nothing to do with Curry. You have to look at the totality of what the voters. Now, I wish it was a situation where MVPs and former MVPs had a vote too as well. But if LeBron wants to be mad at anybody, he probably should be mad at those Cleveland writers that didn't give him a first place vote. Is he the most valuable? Yes, he's the most valuable player. Is he the most outstanding? Yes, he's the most outstanding. And you're right. If you take Curry off of the Warriors squad, no, they're not the best team in the NBA. They don't win 73 wins, but I mean, Cleveland is a lottery team. Well, I don't want to say a lottery team in the East, but they're not as good, obviously, without LeBron. But again, for a guy who won 4 MVPs, this was never part of the discussion. So don't make it a part of the discussion now. I'm about tired of, and I love LeBron, but I'm about tired of his passive aggressive ass with these videos and the way he kind of froze out Kevin Love. That part of LeBron I don't like because that's corny to me. You're the man. You're the guy. You ain't got to be corny. You know, so it kind of, and then he made the comment about Terry Stotts winning Coach of the Year. I totally agree with him. I didn't think Steve Kerr should have won Coach of the Year, but at the same time, bro, keep your name out my mouth. Why are you talking about the Warriors? No, and see, again, people, I wouldn't have a problem if these were questions that were asked, but I watched those question sessions, and nobody asked him the question. This is information he's volunteering. That's the only beef that I have with LeBron. LeBron's the most passive-aggressive, whiny superstar that we've ever seen. And that's corny, and he's too good to be this corny. And I BS you not. I would tell LeBron this if he was standing right next to me. He is too good to be this corny. And it sounds like you're jealous. Don't be jealous, bro. You got your squad. You got your team. We heard the comments at the All-Star break. I wouldn't mind playing with my 3 best friends. Man, shut up. You got 2 All-Stars at you, and you're going to cakewalk into the Eastern Conference Finals. What more do you want? I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong. And you guys know, I've been on here defending LeBron for the last 6 or 7 years. But I'm about tired of this passive-aggressive stuff, man. Just if they ask you a question, yes, I would not mind his answer. But one thing especially now, like you said, FIFO, in the social media era, one thing you have to understand is that when someone asks your opinion, you're going to get it from both sides. I hear people columnists all the time say, well, we want athletes to be, political and get involved in stuff. Yeah, you want to hear that until they say they're going to support somebody that you don't like. Until LeBron says, well, I'm supporting Trump. Now he's the worst person in the world. But you want him to be political. You can't have it both ways. And that's all I'm saying to LeBron. You can't have it both ways. If this was never part of the discussion during your run at 4 MVPs, don't make it a part of the discussion now. That's all I'm saying. And if he was asked that question and he gave that answer, I wouldn't say anything. But he's volunteering information. That I have a problem with. That's just me. Ken, your take.
Well, I think it's all about framing, and that's really what it comes down to. How are you going to frame the MVP discussion? Are you going to take it literally? Are we going to word it differently? Outstanding player. You know what I'm saying? So we all know if you take LeBron off the Cleveland Cavaliers, they are a lottery team, Kyle. And Curry's team will probably still win a whole bunch of games.
Right.
They just play better as a team. So as far as value to his team, LeBron is more valuable to his team. He is the most valuable player, on his team. But was he the most valuable player in the league this year on a team that didn't versus a guy that won 73 games? No. But I think it's just all in the way that it was worded. Do I think he was throwing some low key shade at Steph? Slightly, yeah, I do. But and it's unfortunate because everybody's sitting here having this discussion about what's the valuable player, and you can argue both sides. and
Right, you can.
this conversation a little bit, annoying because, it's like, well, you're kind of right, and then you kind of, so it's just like, it is, whatever. Just to kind of go back to what either B or FIFO said, Scottie Pippen said that Carmelo may have won, most valuable player in the league, but Michael Jordan was still the most valuable player to his team. Jordan didn't say it though, and I think this was after the finals was over. So for me, if LeBron want to really go out and prove his worth, beat him in the finals.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? I think too, Ken, is that, and FIFO kind of touched on it too. I think LeBron's numbers are so crazy that it's almost like, remember how we got to the point with Shaq and Kobe, in their dominance, like. We just,
expected.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
Expected.
You expected 27, 7, and 7.
It's not special. It doesn't feel special anymore.
Exactly. But it is. It really is when you think about it. It is. It truly is. It truly is.
What is this? A 6 or 7 straight final?
What the hell, that's unheard of. That's unheard of.
Come on, man.
That's unheard of.
Like, it goes through you. And you know what? Like, okay, with MJ, you knew it was the Bulls. Like, with LeBron, it's like it comes through me. Like, that's crazy as hell, man. That's crazy as hell. 2 franchises, 6 or 7 straight finals, man. Come on, bro. That's crazy.
It's crazy. And at the time of this recording, the Cavaliers are playing the Toronto Raptors, or should I say they're in a game with the Toronto Raptors. They're not really playing. The Cavs up by almost 20 in the middle of the third quarter. Let's move on to the. I guess we can talk about this because we haven't talked about this series. Ken, your thoughts on this series? How long do you think? Because we haven't gotten our predictions. How long do you think it's going to go?
I asked on Twitter because nobody was giving the Raptors a shot at this game, and I didn't think the Raptors could really compete with the way they struggled against Miami Heat and the way they were banged up. Granted, Volusianis, whatever his name was, he was out too, but they just don't have, outside of Lowry and DeRozan, the rest of the pieces just are not there, man. And it's it's showing. The Cavaliers, them dogs are hunting. And they're sending a message tonight. And if I was them, I would continue to try to beat them down to basically show them they have no shot. Those two out of 3 you won in the regular season means absolutely nothing. And this is what you're gonna expect every single night you step on the court. Kind of like what they did to Atlanta last year. You know that you just ran up against a superior opponent. And right now, that's what we're seeing. Can they could do this when they get to Toronto? We'll see. The games may be a lot closer. And I also have a rule, man. Game 1s mean little to nothing. Game 2s are the ones that you really have to start judging the series because that's when they make the adjustments. That's when they fill them out, and then we'll see from there. But I would like to believe that Toronto would put up more of a fight. I thought that would be the case coming in this game, but the way Cleveland is manhandling these boys, I don't know, man. Now, they're shooting 70%. So you're going to blow out anybody shooting at 70%. So what happens when there's some regression and you're not hitting those shots, you're not playing off the momentum. So we'll see what happens with that. But, look, man, can I say something?
Go ahead, man.
Because I'm tired. Look, they're reviewing the call again. Now, Kevin Love just got a flagrant foul for basically trying to get position, and the guy was like all up in his face. And he hit him with the elbow. It's like it's not intentional, and they called a flagrant on that. This NBA, I'm gonna say it again, is soft.
You're soft, dude.
If you want to blame the rules or whatever.
You blame the league.
Implementing this, you can if you want to, but they're affecting the players themselves. These guys are sitting here, they're not even looking to shoot. They're looking to get a call. Every single damn call to the head is being reviewed.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. It's slowing the game down.
It is.
That should have been an offensive foul. But if you want to call it, fine. It shouldn't have been a flagrant. I don't know, man. It's starting to really frustrate.
Man, just good hard playoff basketball.
Yeah, just like the foul they called last night against Bogut. I mean, he caught Westbrook in the face. It was just it was an inadvertent elbow, man.
That was whack too.
It's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to watch, man. Because I know we came from a different era, and I know that the NBA doesn't want to see NBA Finals, with the score 72-70. I know that they want to see them get up and down the court, man, but it's almost, football don't even have this many replays, man. It's ridiculous.
You know what it is? I think the problem with the rules is that you made it not fair for the defense. Like, you cannot put this right here. When a player is dribbling, this all you can do. I can't get up on you. That's nah, man. I think you have to give some advantages to defenses. You have to be able to. You got to feel my body on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be roaming freely. And I think that's the problem. That's the problem. But I agree with Ken. It is the NBA is soft in terms of the league, not the players. The players are not soft to me. But when the league is soft, you condition players to be soft.
Right.
To expect calls. You're conditioning the flopping. You're conditioning all of that stuff. But when you make them play through and be like, yo, that's not a foul. You got to play. Oh, okay. They will adjust. They will adjust. And I think that you got to let them be a little bit more physical. Not saying just let it go, you know what I'm saying, too far, but come on, man. Basketball is a physical sport. You go out there on the playground when me and B hooping, it get physical out there, man. We play
as it's supposed to
most times than the NBA dudes, I think.
Yep, true story.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because the fans, we want to see, we want to see the competitiveness. We want to see, a guy is going to get hit. He's going to, now, nothing short of you taking somebody out or taking them out of the air or something like that. There's such thing, like what was it, the Knicks of the 90s invented the no layup rule in the playoffs. Like, they just had a rule, like, they weren't going to give up any layups. It doesn't mean that they were going to put you on your back. It just means that if you were going in the lane, they were going to foul you. It was going to be a hard foul. You probably weren't going to end up on the ground, but you're just going to have to earn your two at the line. And I think, and I understand they want to clean the game up ever since the brawl at the Palace, but still, it's frustrating to see everything scrutinized to the point where every single foul you run into the monitors. We need to go check with New York to see what kind of foul that was. Come on, man, get out of here with all that. It's crazy. Go ahead.
Predictions though.
I'll keep mine short. Cleveland wins in sweep. I don't think Toronto's gonna win one.
Damn. I think they're gonna get one game. They're a good home team. They play good at home, so I can see them definitely probably getting one. Rather if it's game 3 or 4, they're gonna get one game.
You think so, B?
Yeah, I think they'll get one. They're a good home team. I can see them getting one.
What about you, FIFO?
What was that? I'm sorry, I missed the question.
How do you think the series is gonna play out? This series,
Cleveland, Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
At most a gentleman's sweep.
Dang.
At most, and I really think it's a sweep about to happen. I say
the same thing.
Because look, man, there's no way, there's no reason why you should go 7 games against Indiana. You know what I'm saying? If you're that good, Miami shouldn't have took you 7. Cleveland gonna make short work of these boys because I don't think DeMar ready. Kyle Lowry has proven, them two guys right there. Man, I don't understand when I watch it. I really don't get it. I don't get it at all. And Cleveland looks like a well-oiled machine. They look like they know what it takes. Everybody's ready. Kyrie is Kyrie right now. The real Kyrie, the healthy Kyrie, the Kyrie that everybody knew he could be. LeBron is playing at where his athleticism is on a slight decline, but his mental game just makes up for the little bit in decline. You got K-Love playing the best basketball he's played in Cleveland right now. You could tell that there's an energy to the ball movement, to how they're playing. Everything looks like it's copacetic in the locker room. Tyronn Lue out here flexing. You know what I'm saying? Everything looked good. It looked good, man. So these boys right here, man, they are ready to compete against anybody. I think when they played Golden State in the regular season, they got blown out the way they did at home. I think they really took that to heart, and I think they understand what is going to be waiting for them, regardless if it's OKC or Golden State. And you can see it. That's the beauty about sports. When somebody is ready, the eye test is undeniable. And these boys, they ready. They ready. They ready. They ready to go. They ready to go 7 games with anybody.
Yeah, I think I hope it's a series. I hope it goes, further. But to be honest, I would have liked to have seen a healthy Miami. Shout out to Chris Bosh, man. I hope Chris Bosh, is able to come back. He was obviously ruled out for the playoffs, and there's speculation that Bosh may or may not ever be cleared by Miami's doctors. So that's something to take a look at going forward. Before we went on the air tonight, the NBA draft lottery was held. As far as the selections, once again, the Philadelphia 76ers have the number 1 pick. I think who is it picking second? The Lakers is picking second, and third will be the Boston Celtics. B, your thoughts on the Sixers? Is it a foregone conclusion that they're going to take your boy Simmons?
Probably. He gonna be pissed off because I remember I sent y'all that link earlier today.
Yep.
About him wanting to get drafted to the Lakers so he can have a big shoe deal or whatever because he's in a bigger market city. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen if they just gonna be like, all right, if they're gonna agree with Lakers, say, hey, you pick up Ingram, we get Simmons, or Philadelphia's like, I don't care, we getting the best player available at 1, and it's gonna be Simmons. So it's gonna be interesting, man. But my thing is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a privilege to play in the NBA. So I'm like, man up, suck it up. Whoever drafts you, you should be there, be ready to come to work, play hard as you can, and contribute to your team. There's enough of all this, I want to play for this team, I want to play for that team, I want to play for this team. Like, man up, whoever drafts you, play for them. If you end up getting traded down the line of your career, then fine. But don't be requesting for demands already, and you haven't even stepped foot on a professional NBA court. You might not even make that transition you might not make that transition well. You might be one of the guys that might be a bust. So I don't like that demand stuff. Like, I want to get picked by this team or that team. Just man up and play ball when whoever drafts you. Whether you get picked 1 overall or 3rd overall or 4th overall or whatever. Just be ready to play.
I agree. What about you, Ken? I know we got some time before this actually happens, but how do you see this thing going?
Man, I really don't know because you look at what Philly has already. Okafor, Embiid, Noel. They can't play Noel and Okafor together. Embiid is apparently supposed to play this year.
He ain't gonna play.
Ken.
Yeah, what's up?
Is Embiid ever gonna play?
He's playing.
I think so. And Ken, one other person you're forgetting, Dario Saric. He's coming back. He's coming this year. Got drafted 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So
6'10" power forward.
Do you get Simmons, who's supposed to be the next LeBron? Look,
hell yeah.
This is a damn shame. Or do you feel your need? Ingram is pretty nice. You need a point guard. 6'9" is nice. What do you do? Somebody got to go, man. I think they got to trade somebody. But I think at this, what the Sixers has shown historically is that they take the best player available. Right now, Simmons projects to be that guy. I think they're going to take him, which will leave. What do you do if you're the Lakers? Because they believe so much in D'Angelo Bustle. Do you?
Wow.
Do you get Brandon Ingram? Or do you plan on shifting them to the 2 or the 3 if you do? I don't know, man. So it's going to be really interesting, mainly because both of these teams are looking at players, or players are falling. Oh, what a pass! Oh, come
Ooh.
on! Yeah, boy, put that down. Bismack need to get out of here, boy. He reckless right now. If he's not dunking and blocking shots, he a wild boy. Monkey ass. But yeah, man. So I'm more interested in the lottery now that it fell this way because of where players are projected as far as their ranks. But so yeah, I really honestly have no clue, and I just have to continue to read and research. And then what do you do if you the Celtics? So man, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be really interesting. But I'm happy for Philly, man. I'm happy they got the #1 pick. They paid off finally.
I think the Sixers will find a way to mess this up. I just I don't have any faith in
How
the
can
Sixers,
you go wrong
man.
though, Kyle?
I mean, you know what, Ken, you're right. You can't go wrong. But I mean, the Sixers is just and I tweeted it. I was going back and forth with our boy Q, 6 man from off the bench, and I said it in a jokingly manner, but like it's frustrating to see because if you come up when I came up, like the Sixers were actually great growing up in the 80s, and they had a nice little run when Bubba Chuck was there in the 90s, but I've seen in the early 2000s. But it's just like their organization, like something's not there. I mean, they had Okafor this year. He had his trouble on and off the court, but I don't know, man. Somehow something tells me that they will find a way to mess this up. Now, like you said, Ken, you really can't. You shouldn't be able to mess this up between Ingram and Simmons.
Kyle,
but
let me put you up on game, Kyle.
Put me up on game, man.
Let me put you up on game, man. You got to remember who they hired. Who they hired, bruh? Colangelo. Mr. Give me a mess, I'm going to clean it up and set you up for your future endeavors. Colangelo. That's the Colangelo they got, and that's what they're about to do. Look, man, Colangelo isn't going to sit on all these big men. He's not going to sit on all these guys. He's going to make moves.
So who do you think gets moved? Because somebody's going to have to get moved, right?
Exactly. You keep Okafor because you know what Okafor is, right? I think you try to move Embiid and Nerlens. You try to move those guys. Or, depending on what you feel their health status is, you could look at moving Okafor because he might bring in more trade value. If you think that Nerlens and Embiid are healthy enough to compete and finally play in at least in Embiid's rookie season. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Obviously, I'm not in the inner workings and brass of the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm looking at it from an outsider's perspective.
Somebody in the chat room said they're gonna hire Chip Kelly.
But I definitely think that that this Philadelphia squad is gonna get it right. They're gonna get it right. They're gonna get it. They got the right guys in the front office, and I don't. If you don't know this about basketball, you're not gonna have a good team until you have a good front office. The front office comes first, and if you don't know that in terms of one-on-one building an NBA team, then you know what I'm saying. You are just a bystander in basketball. You just like the game. You're not in it like I am, or like how Dead in Sports is. So, you got to get the front office, and that's what they did first.
No doubt. So we'll see what happens, man. We got some time coming up before the draft, and obviously they're going to have the pre-draft camps and things of that nature. Oh snap! I just lost my camera. The Spurs, man, just got knocked out, obviously, by OKC. Of course, there's a lot of talk, even though it has not been officially stated, that it's possible, that we could have seen the last of Tim Duncan. Beezy, man, if you're Tim Duncan, what do you do? Do you shut it down, or do you try to come back for another season?
Shut it down. Just go ahead and call it a career. At this point, you don't, well, at least in my eyes, or even the eyes of truly basketball fans, you have nothing else to prove. you will go down as, pretty much like the greatest power forward to ever play the game. Until we just get some other freakish athlete power forward to do some crazy stuff for, almost 20 plus years. So, but yeah, Tim Duncan, just go ahead and hang it up. It was games where it was just like, damn, like you saw how bad and how the age is wearing and tearing on Duncan. So, let's let him go out. Let's salute him. I mean, he's not the type of player that's gonna go through the whole tour thing like Kobe.
Right,
Yep.
right.
I can definitely see him doing a press conference after the NBA Finals is over, saying, "You know what? I'm retiring. I'm hanging it up. I will not be returning for the 2016-17 season." So, but yeah, I really think he needs to hang it up because he showed some times where I was like, just even Ken. I think Ken tweeted at one time was like, "Duncan, just walk away," and I was like, I agree. I agree with him. Like, just go ahead and hang it up, man. It's you don't want to just really just look like that super scrub, out there on the floor. Just go ahead and hang it up, man. You had a wonderful, hell of a career, I mean, many people can argue that you was the best player of your era besides, except for, besides Kobe, or if not, you were the player and Kobe was number two, or you can switch either one of those two guys out. You can make that argument, but yeah, hang it up, Tim Duncan. I mean, you what else? What else can you prove or show me that you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer and the best power forward that I've ever seen play the game?
No doubt, no doubt. What about you, FIFO? Tim Duncan, man. If he comes back for next season, it will be season number 20. He's told Greg Popovich as well as his teammates that he would not play the game if he were a quote unquote hindrance. What do you think happens with Big Tim, man?
I think it's really 50-50. There were times where, look, man, when you that damn old, man. Look, I'm not even that old, and on the court at times I feel like I'm super old. You know what I'm saying? I played 2 days ago, and I'm in certain parts of my body still hurt. So I could only imagine. But here's the thing, right? Like, he could retire and not do the whole Kobe thing because that's not his personality. And I agree with B. If he's gonna retire, it's probably gonna be right after the finals or whatever. But I think he could come back. I just think he has to be at a reduced role. He's no longer a starter. I think he's a bench role player, 10 to 15 minutes a game. That's it, because what he still can contribute is invaluable. And I think it could still bring value to a championship level team. So I think he could still compete. I think that he could still bring something to the squad. But I think Pop and San Antonio have to look at their old big three and bringing them guys off the bench as role players only. You guys are getting 8 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you might not play. You know what I'm saying? You might be active and might not play. And I think that they need to upgrade certain positions. But I think if they wanted to, I think that they've shown that they could still compete at a high level. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think they have to go, but at some point you have to move on. And only Tim Duncan knows how his body feels if he wants to go through it again. And either way, like B said, again, I agree, he's going to be regarded as a top 2 player of his era. He won multiple championships, albeit never back-to-back. But you can't take nothing away, man. Arguably the greatest player at his position ever played a game.
No doubt, no doubt. What about you, Ken? What do you have your thoughts changed since Saturday? Or you still think he should shut it down?
The Twin Towers leaning, Kyle.
Like the Tower of Pisa.
Yeah. For you old heads, you young bucks may not know, David Robinson and Tim Duncan were known as the Twin Towers back in the day. It's time for the tour, man. It's time to take the tour, baby. It's over. I'm not like FIFO. I don't want to see him back in a reduced role playing 8 to 10 minutes. You B?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You need to get that B? B got booty.
I'm about to get off the show.
But Ken, at the same time, if you want to win, that's the role you'll take. And that role is indicative of his salary.
No, I feel you. I'm just saying I wouldn't like to see him go out like that.
I feel you.
You know, I understand he can come in and play 8 to 12 minutes of great defense. You know, if you want to put in a defensive lineup. And you know what, to be honest, he got old man game. He can still score around the rim and grab some rebounds, so he still can be effective in a limited role. It's just I can't, man. I can't watch Tim play like that, man. I'm used to Mr. Fundamentals, man. So I'd rather him just go in and sit out. I'd rather not watch him at all than to watch him like that. But yeah, it's time. Let's go ahead and give it on up, Timmy. Take your 5 and call it a day, bro.
Here's the thing, man. I think he, like he said, I think he can still play at a reduced role. I think he can still play at a reduced role. I think, and I think if there's anybody who could play at a reduced role and not, worry about, have their ego get caught up in it or whatever like that, I think it's him. So, hey, man, I wouldn't have a problem with it if he felt like he could come back and, and not be a hindrance to the team. So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. And we got into it real hot and heavy on Twitter about Kobe's career and Duncan's career, which is that's another discussion for a whole another day. But I don't know, man. The sentimental part of me would love to see him come back. I would love to see him come back. So we shall see. We shall see. I think it was yesterday. In other NBA news, Karl Anthony Towns was named the NBA Rookie of the Year. Everybody okay with that?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, he was the number 1 pick. Clearly one of the best, if not the best talent. Oh, don't do it to him. You didn't do it.
I was about to say.
In the NBA, the man is going to be a force. He got the jumper. He got the post game. He got defense, and he can shoot free throws.
He got handles, Ken. He got some.
And he can guard Steph Curry on the perimeter.
He got some handles with it, man.
Man, return of the big man. And I can't help but wonder, man, because didn't Anthony. I mean, we could go to Kevin Garnett if we wanted to, but just right now, Anthony Davis, isn't he kind of ushering in this new era of big men like that can just got that all-around game from all over the court. Yep. 7 feet, just doing whatever. Yep. Now you got Karl Anthony Towns out there doing the same. Man, yeah, I have no issues with it at all. I can't wait till next year. I want to see him play more.
Yeah, man. I mean, a legit 7-footer who can shoot threes. And if you saw the game where they beat the Warriors, I mean, hey, man, he was getting switched out. He was going one-on-one with he was checking Steph on those pick and rolls, on those high pick and rolls, and he was hanging with him. I mean, so, man, it's tremendous. Quick question for my man Brody in the chat room. Thoughts on Chris Bosh's career? Now, personally, I have a running debate with some of my best friends about whether or not Chris Bosh is a Hall of Famer. If this is it, and I hope it's not, but again, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Miami team doctors say they don't know if and when Bosh will be cleared to play basketball. So the question I want to throw to you guys, and I'm going to throw out to everybody in the chat room here, if it's all said and done, and I'll start first with you, B, is Chris Bosh a Hall of Famer if his career ends tomorrow?
Man, if y'all means a Hall of Famer, yeah, Chris Bosh is definitely a Hall of Famer. Sorry. And I'm just, I know y'all mean he globally did a lot for the game and all that stuff because of China, but still, if you look at Yao Ming's numbers, let's be real, y'all. His numbers do not scream Hall of Fame. Like his numbers, you look at his numbers, you know, you're not gonna be like, you know what, that's a Hall of Famer. And if he's a Hall of Famer, your Bosh number, I haven't looked at it. I don't have his numbers in front. But
Bosh's numbers are pretty. I mean, relatively speaking, if you look at Bosh's numbers compared to, current players that will be in a Hall of Fame,
yeah,
the Kobe's and those guys like that. Yeah. I mean, his numbers are right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yes, he's a Hall of Famer. He is definitely gonna be a Hall of Famer. He should be a Hall of Famer. If Yao Ming can get in, damn it, Chris Bosh can get in too. And he's a two-time champion, and he played more years, than Yao Ming. I think Yao Ming only played like 8 seasons, 8 or 9 seasons or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's like he played 8 or 9 seasons. His numbers don't even jump. It'd be different if his numbers jumped out. Dang, but no.
Right.
Chris Bosh is a Hall of Famer. If
You
Chris Bosh not a Hall
okay?
of Famer, then Yao Ming shouldn't be a Hall of Famer either. I'm
just to clarify, my argument with my boys was why Bosh was that I wanted to see what Bosh did post LeBron, because we knew what he did pre Miami, and I wanted to see what he did after LeBron. And not to say that he rode LeBron's coattails, because I think Bosh was an integral part of those championship runs that they had in Miami. But everybody in the chat room I haven't seen one comment that said that he's not a Hall of Famer, so I could be wrong. I just when I think Hall of Fame, I think of the greats, and B, I guess you're right. If you put Yao Ming in, then I guess, and Yao Ming had a good run, but I don't think, did Yao Ming ever get out of the Western Conference Finals?
No, he didn't get out the first round, because remember he was on the T-Mac squads that was in Houston. Remember T-Mac?
Yao never got out of the first round?
Yeah, remember T-Mac never got out the first round.
Wow.
Until he played for the Spurs.
Right, but he was a bench player at that point. I'm talking about when he was like the man, like when he was that dude. T-Mac never got past the first round.
Yeah, my man Bang in the chat room said Yao deserves Hall of Fame. It's not NBA Hall of Fame, it's Basketball Hall of Fame. What he did for the international game,
right.
What he did for the game internationally deserved props, and dude could play on top. That's a good point. We got to keep that in mind. It's not just the NBA Hall of Fame; it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So that would also encompass, what you did in college too, as well. So,
I mean, Bosh balled at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, he did. I don't know, man. I guess I got to come around on that one, man. I guess I got to come around on that.
Time to give it up. I was saying Bosh was a Hall of Famer before Yao Ming made it in. And B has a.
But because you're friends with D Wade, Ken, so I mean you gonna say that? That's your boy.
Yeah, the dude's career in Toronto. He came to Miami, 2 out of 4 rings.
Sacrificed his game for some rings.
And when he and to what your question about his career post LeBron,
right?
You can argue that he was the man on that Miami team for the years that he played. He was a vital piece for them. So he didn't get a chance.
We're not more than Wade was, though, was he? You think he was more the man than Wade?
Yeah.
After LeBron, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And that was hard for me to swallow, but yeah, Bosh was the guy. They ran. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they ran the offense through Chris Bosh.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, he went back to being the number 1 guy, and we just haven't had a chance to see it in the postseason due to health issues. So, but everything else, his resume is intact.
Okay, you know what, y'all may have convinced me, man. I'm not gonna admit this to my boys, but unless they watch this video, because I'm gonna stay with this lie. But yeah, y'all may have convinced me. I mean, and again, nobody in the chat room has said otherwise, so I think we're on to something. Real quick before we get out of here, shout out.
Wasn't rigged. Y'all stop it.
I knew you. Why did I know you gonna respond to that?
Oh, just. Man, channel.
Don't y'all get Ken started on Dwayne Wade, man.
Oh, and Ryan Boogie's still my guy, man. I still take Boogie over Anthony Davis.
All right, that's a perfect segue. Speaking of taking, shout out to the homie One Gotta Go on Twitter. You can follow him at one gotta go. He posted these a couple of days ago, and I shared a couple of them on Dead End Sports. So you guys tell me which one gotta go. I'm going to start first with you, FIFA. I'm going to give you 4 players, and one you have to take off the list. Like when I say they got to go, you got to erase them from history. Here are the 4 players: Carmelo, T-Mac, Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Durant. Who got to go?
Carmelo, T-Mac.
T-Mac, Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Durant. Who got to go?
T-Mac.
Oh, I didn't expect you to say that. B, what about you? Carmelo, T-Mac, Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Durant. Who got to go?
Say that one more. Say them names one more time. T-Mac.
T-Mac, Carmelo, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Durant.
For what? Just general?
Just got to go. One, you got to get rid of one of them. Who got to go?
Oh. I say T-Mac just off the strength that he never willed his team past the first round as that guy.
Okay. Ken, what about you?
My reasoning.
Melo, get Melo out of here, man.
Hey, you tripping. Melo got to the Western Conference Finals, bro.
Get Melo out of here, man.
Melo got to the Western Conference Finals. Wasn't Melo a scoring champ?
I don't.
Did he win a scoring title? I don't know.
I don't know,
think
but he was the best. He was one of the best scorers in the league for quite some years.
Almost a decade.
Melo can score any type of way you want him to score.
So could T-Mac.
Not like
you
Melo.
know what, man?
Yeah, not
T-Mac
like
didn't have that post game like Melo. T-Mac did not have a post game like Melo. Melo did.
Me and Ken never agree, but I gotta agree, man. Melo gotta get up out the paint.
Man, you tripping. You tripping too.
And y'all know I love him from Syracuse, man.
When T-Mac was the man and had a supporting cast, he still couldn't get past the second round.
The only guy he had was Yao Ming.
No.
I remember those Rockets, man. Because the I forgot who owns the team there. They decided to trade Rudy Gay for Shane Battier. Wanted to get It was, and he couldn't do anything in the playoffs, and they needed that third guy on that team. And but Melo got to go, man.
Who did Melo have on a different squad? He had Kenyon Martin, but was Kenyon Martin that second scorer?
That Denver squad was nice.
Who else he had though? Who else he had?
Because remember,
I can't remember.
He made the playoffs rookie year.
Yeah.
Rookie year.
He didn't have as much of a supporting cast as T-Mac did. And they both was in the Western Conference, so you can't say, he was in the East or something like that. They both was in the Western Conference. So
all right, I got one more. I got one more. I'm throwing this one. I'm throwing this one to Ken first. One gotta go.
Somebody echoing.
Alex Smith, Andy Dalton, Matt Stafford, or Joe Flacco.
Oh, Joe Flacco.
I'm going to read it one more time. Alex Smith, Andy Dalton, Matt Stafford, or Joe Flacco. What you say, Ken?
Yeah, Joe. Get Joe out of here, dog.
You tripping. Yo.
Matthew Stafford.
Yo, man, your Flacco hate is unreal, man.
Matthew Stafford.
What you say, B?
Matthew Stafford.
Get Joe Wacko out of here.
Man, take off Alex Smith whack ass.
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, Alex Smith got to get up out the paint.
Yeah.
I got to get out the paint.
All them other quarterbacks at least got an arm.
Matthew Stafford haven't won any big games though. Matthew Stafford he 2-16 on the road against winning teams.
Oh man. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. This is hilarious.
At least some of those other quarterbacks kind of won some big games, somewhat big games in their career at some point.
Well, Alex Smith didn't win any. Has Alex Smith won any games?
Alex Smith got to the he took them. Didn't he take San Francisco to the conference finals or something, or the NFC before he got hurt?
I think that was Cap.
That was Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I think that was Cap's team. Yeah. I think that was Cap's team.
Dalton, sure?
You can make it. And I could be wrong.
Yeah, it was a game for
Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton probably.
It was against the Saints.
Andy Dalton could have been. There you go. Andy Dalton could have been. He could have taken the Bengals pretty far last year had he not gotten hurt. Stafford obviously played with Calvin. Flacco has a ring, and Ken wants to get rid of this man.
Flacco has the luckiest Super Bowl ring in NFL history.
Man, get out of here, Ken. You tripping.
Oh
He
man.
never.
No, who got the luckiest
I'm not getting
Super
with it.
Bowl ring is Trent Dilfer.
With Joe
Trent
Flacco,
Dilfer
but
got the
never
luckiest Super Bowl ring, Ken.
Man, look, if Chris Harris, I think that was the cornerback. If he didn't think the game was over, and he admitted after the game that he thought it was over, and didn't allow that touchdown, where the guy just ran past him, it was practice at that point. Flacco wouldn't have even made it to the Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer got the luckiest Super Bowl, man.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh man,
I could have been on that Ravens squad.
definitely have
I could have quarterbacked that Ravens squad and got a Super Bowl. That Raven is unreal.
Oh man. So we definitely again shout out to the homie at one gotta go. You can follow him on Twitter. I'm gonna see if I can get some more of these for next week's show, man. This is always funny. This is always funny because with those I just knew Ken. I mean, having to pick between Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco, I just knew Ken was gonna go with Flacco. Anyway, man, it's about time for us to get up out of here. Time for some parting shots.
I got a parting shot.
Okay, B, you want to go first?
Yeah. Sports people, sports world, will y'all please just admit it with me. Say it with me. Tiger Woods is done. I've been saying this for the past like 4 years. Tiger Woods is done. If you expecting Tiger Woods to be great again, Tiger Woods is done. Stop it. Just let it go. I even made the analogy when we reviewed Lil Wayne's what was that? The Free Weezy album. Like it's like the same thing. Like people want Lil Wayne to have that Carter 3 greatness again, and it's not gonna happen. He's not gonna produce another album like that. He's not gonna produce another album creatively on the level of Carter 3. Stop waiting for Tiger Woods to be great. Tiger Woods is not gonna be great. I'm sorry, y'all. For golfers, people who watch golf, who's into golf as well, just like me. Look, Tiger Woods is not gonna be great again. It's a wrap.
Hey, B, did you see those tee shots he hit?
Yes, that didn't surprise me. All that was just like, look, no, he's done. The red Nike shirt Tiger Woods on Sunday that we see, that's done. You're not gonna see that Tiger no more. It's a wrap. Golfers are not even scared of him no more. It's over. Y'all give it up. Just give it up. Tiger Woods is done. Just admit it. Say it with me. Tiger Woods is done.
Oh, great closeout. What about you, Ken? You got a final thought?
You know what? I don't actually. You know what? Just real quick, shout out to the Undefeated. They launched.
Yes, yes.
So I'm really interested in seeing that. The only thing I really got to say about that, because I still got to go through that content for a week, is that it's good to see Kevin Durant took over the job from Jay Kuhn Whitlock, and it's I hope that he does it justice. And the other thing is this is the last thing. I saw that they're giving Whitlock and Cowherd a debate show at 6 o'clock, competing directly with SportsCenter on Fox. Expect the Cooning to begin soon. That's all I got.
Any parting shot, people?
Yeah, Mr. Sam Bradford. Bro, shut the hell up and play. I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. They didn't give you a 5-year contract with $50 million guaranteed, talking about you gonna be the starter, and then they drafted Wentz. They gave you 2 years and $22 million, so you could come out here and try to maybe have a career after us. So I just shut up and play for your next team, bro. You getting paid. That's all I got.
My parting shot is to the hometown Atlanta Falcons. Falcons will be opening a new stadium next football season called the Mercedes-Benz Dome. It was revealed yesterday that the Falcons are dropping prices on damn near everything. Sodas will be $2 and they're refillable at any time. Hot dogs will be $2. Potato chips are like $2. Beer, a 12-ounce beer, be $5. So you wonder where the Falcons are gonna make their money. I got a couple of suggestions as some things that the Falcons can cut as far as, I mean, it's good to drop your hot dog prices, but I got a couple of things written down here. You can make Hennessy $2. You can make pizza 50 cents, and you can make parking $3. If you did that, I promise you, I would be at every single game. Trust me, while this is a great deal by the Falcons, those ticket prices ain't going down. In fact, they're going up. So anybody that's season ticket holders, you might want to go to the game by yourself because it's not going to be cheap whatsoever. That's going to do it for us. Thanks again for checking out another edition of our show. For Ken, for B, for FIFO, I'm your host, 12 Kyle. We'll holler at you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.